I'm sitting outside of my office here in Gig Harbor. It's one of those gloomy days, but it's still so beautiful here where I live and work. And I've been thinking about something that I'd like to share with you. Most of us have read that scripture in Nehemiah chapter 8 where Nehemiah is talking to the people. He has just been part of the leadership team that have given Israel back their law, and they've seen the mistakes they've made and their ancestors have made in the past. And they want to rectify some of those very deep, devastating mistakes. And in so doing, they feel very down on themselves and their history. And so they're in a place of mourning. And Nehemiah reaches out to them and says, this is not a time for mourning. This is a time for rejoicing, for feasting and celebrating. And he tells them, instructs them to go out and feast and invite those who don't have anything. And he makes this beautiful phrase. He says, the joy of the Lord is your strength. And I've been thinking about that phrase, wondering if we can grasp what it means. There's a couple of ways of looking at it. One of them is that the strength of the Lord is our joy. I feel like a lot of us try and appropriate that verse that way. We try and drum up this joy out of singing to God about His strength. And there's nothing wrong with singing to God about His strength and His power, His majesty, His might. But that's not what the verse is talking about. Another way to look at it is to say that God gives us this joy, which becomes our strength. And that also is not altogether wrong. But I think there's a better way to look at this verse. And that is to think about the fact that it is the joy that God actually has that is our strength. It is the fact that He delights in us. He delights in who we are. He delights in being with us as a people. The fact that when you get close to God, you begin to see the corners of His mouth broaden out into a smile. You see the laugh lines in the sides of His eyes, and you realize that He's not an angry God. He's not a vengeful, bitter, mean God who wants to get back at people. He's actually a God who is happy, who is full of joy. That nothing frustrates God, not even when we make the stupidest mistakes. When you begin to realize who it is that we're dealing with, something changes deep inside of us. There's this joy that wells up, that can't be put out. There's no circumstance that can squash it, quell it. And that is what becomes our strength. And so I hope that encourages you today, that whatever you're going through, it is a good idea to reach out to God, to get close to Him. Don't pull away from Him. Because when you get close to God, you begin to realize something, that He's joyful and happy. And that becomes your strength. God bless you today.